All right, we've got so we have a debate for the people that are watching here.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of people are debating about Mitch Trubisky, which is always, Chicago Bears fans listen to us quite a bit. Appreciate all of our Bears fans. And we've been harsh on Mitch Trubisky, not because of anything personal, but because we grade every single play and every single throw. So going back to this point of guys with negative grades and good stats, I mean, he's the epitome of that this year, just so you can see. Just check out this breakdown. We've got two elite games. Yesterday was one of them for Trubisky.
Yeah, would you like the numbers?
And the rest are below average games. Yes, I would like to see
this season we have one game of 93.7 against the Bucs in Week 4, one game of 88.6, this most recent game against the Detroit Lions. We have 3 games in the 40s, 3 more games in the 50s, and the highest other game outside of those 2 spectacular games was one at 65.1. So basically, Trubisky has been terrible from a grading standpoint outside of those 2 spectacular games.
Yeah, so let's explain what some of the discrepancies are, okay? When you have a guy that has great numbers and doesn't have great grades, the easy explanation is he's either getting a lot of luck, or a lot of help from his playmakers and or scheme. I think this is a little bit of both. He has 11 turnover-worthy plays, only 7 interceptions. Some of those turnover-worthy plays really, really bad, ugly ones. That's just throws, turnover-worthy throws. That's a pretty good ratio for his interceptions, and a lot of yards after the catch leading to touchdowns. A lot of scheme-based yardage for Mitch Trubisky. Even though he's throwing the ball down the field a little bit, wide open receivers down the field too. That's also a factor. It's all going to show up in the grading. Not all 50-yard touchdowns are the same in our grading system. So why can't we just say, look, Trubisky has a lot of developing to do as an actual quarterback, but for now they're doing a good job of scheming him up and helping him out statistically. And he has a game like yesterday where he was outstanding.
Yeah, so when we said coming into this year is that Trubisky has one of the best situations around him of any quarterback. They're bringing in Matt Nagy, who comes from this Kansas City offense that was tearing the league up, the Philadelphia offense as well from last season that was doing such a good job. The RPOs they run, the additions of all these playmakers on offense in addition to the ones they already had, like Tariq Cohen, Jordan Howard, et cetera, et cetera. So on paper, this looked like a phenomenal situation for Trubisky to be in. And then the only question was, how good could he be? Because that really is what was going to determine how good the Bears are, right? But what you need to bear in mind, therefore, is that given what we've just said, that how great this situation is, there's like a percentage that you need to take off any statistics that he creates because the situation is so good. So we've just talked about all these things that are going to make life so much easier for him. Therefore, any numbers that he produces are not the same as any numbers some other quarterback might produce who doesn't have this great situation working for them.
Now, I did glance. So here's the other thing, too. We've already got Bears fans leaving. They're all pissed off. Only 6 drops this year. And this was the thing I said about Deshaun Watson last year. When you have so few drops, that's far better than the league average. If you just call that league average all of a sudden, that drops you like 5 to 10 points off your passer rating immediately.
Right.
Trubisky's now number 4 in ESPN's QBR, which I don't pay a ton of attention to, but I do enough just for some perspective. I think QBR overrates rushing a little bit, and he's been a fantastic rushing quarterback. I mean, he's done a great job within scheme and as a scrambler. He's had a ton of value as a runner. He has an 85.8 rushing grade right now, which is outstanding for a quarterback. So there is value with his legs, and we might undervalue rushing quarterbacks a little bit. I think QBR overvalues it. We might undervalue it a touch because we do focus a little bit more on passing because quarterback passing is still more valuable. But that could also be part of the disconnect. It doesn't explain a 101.6 passer rating, though, and a 60.6 or 54.4 passing grade. That discrepancy is massive, and that screams scheme and playmakers and luck now.
Luck is a big part of it in drops. So Trubisky has 6 drops on the season from 333 dropbacks. Baker Mayfield has 319 dropbacks and 20 drops. And drops aren't necessarily just incomplete passes because more than one of Baker Mayfield's drops have actually ended up in the hands of
they've
defensive
become
backs,
interceptions,
and they've become
yeah.
interceptions.
Yep.
So we're not just talking about the effect incompletions have on your passer rating. You're talking about what happens if a completed pass becomes an interception and just takes a sledgehammer to your passer rating. Like, that's what we're talking about here, this Mitch Trubisky thing. If he had, let's say, 5 more drops and 2 of them would become interceptions, you're now talking about a guy who doesn't have a 101.6 passer rating. He's got like a 92 passer rating. And people are saying, well, he's okay, I guess.
And let me just be more specific now with the actual breakdown, too. If you guys use that YouTube promo code and you get Premium Stat, you get PFF Elite Premium Stats 2.0, go check out Mitch Trubisky's page and click under report. You go passing pressure. This was the report that Zach Robinson, our QB guru, said coming out of college, blitz recognition is a huge part of Trubisky's game and development, and we haven't seen it yet. He has a 34.7 grade when blitzed. Now, the blitz is just a play call, and usually the grades and the stats between a blitz or a no blitz are pretty much about the same. Blitzing's actually not more favorable for the defense or the offense. It all ends up about the same. So he has a 72.5 grade when he's not blitzed. That drops to 34.7 when he is blitzed. That's a massive discrepancy and a weakness that defensive coordinators can and should exploit because Trubisky's pre-snap recognition on blitzes has not been great. But even there, passer rating still 89.9 on blitzes. Again, showing play calling, screens at the right time. Like, there's a lot happening there in Trubisky's favor because he has not played well in those situations.
So I just decided to run the numbers on the passer rating.
Oh, you did?
Let's say.
I love when you do
let's
that.
say 10 of his incompletions, or let's say 10 of his completions became drops, right? We go from 6? We go from 6 to 16, so he still got 4 less than Baker, but he now has 10 more drops. I took about 100 yards off his, 10 yards per completion, let's say. That's fair.
That's fair, yeah.
And 2 of them became interceptions. That takes his passer rating from 101.6 to 94.
You gave him 2 interceptions, though? That seems harsh.
But that's what happened to Baker, right? That's the
true.
point I'm making. 2 of those 10 drops became interceptions. So that's the kind of effect. It's nothing that he did. Literally, he's attempted the exact same passes, but his receivers have been 10 drops worse,
right.
2 of which have bounced into the hands of defenders. Through no fault of Trubisky whatsoever, the same level can produce like a 8-point swing in passer rating.
Yeah, so we're just trying to add proper perspective here to everybody. So I think Bears fans should say, hey, there's room to improve. He's putting up good numbers, and there's room to improve.
This is
which
good
we
news,
expect him to do.
Right? This is all good news because
think so.
Trubisky's playing the overall offense is producing this level of passer rating and therefore production. And Trubisky isn't playing that well with the exception of 2 outstanding games. If he does start to play well and the offense is still generating that kind of production,
then they're dangerous.
Then they're
real dangerous.
Then they're terrifying.
So full credit to Trubisky. Another top-notch game against the Lions yesterday, but overall hasn't been great.
All right, what other games have we got to hit?